There are two kinds of men in this world. The first kind, he tries too hard. He sends the first message. He plans the perfect date. He gives compliments. He listens. He supports. He does everything women say they want. But what does he get in return? Silence, distance, confusion. She pulls away, not because he wasn't good, but because he was too available, too predictable, too safe. You see, kindness without power doesn't create desire. It creates comfort. And comfort is where attraction goes to die. But the second kind of man is a different animal. He doesn't chase. He doesn't try to prove himself. He doesn't speak just to fill silence. His power is not in what he says. It's in what he doesn't need to say. This man walks into a room and the air changes. Not because he's loud, not because he's flashy, but because his energy speaks louder than his voice. She remembers him not for what he gave her, but for how she felt in his presence. She keeps thinking about him long after he's gone. Why? Because he didn't just enter her life, he entered her mind, and the difference between these two men isn't money. It isn't looks, it's not even luck, it's psychology, it's silent, powerful traits that make a man unforgettable without saying a single word. And in this video, you're not just going to learn how to attract women, you're going to learn how to awaken obsession. We're not talking about tricks or pickup lines, we're talking about deep, primal triggers that pull women toward you without you ever chasing them. If you learn these 5 Machiavellian traits and master them with calm, quiet strength, you won't need to impress women. They'll try to figure you out. They'll feel you more than they understand you. Because when you step into true masculine energy, you don't explain, you don't compete, you don't beg to be chosen. You become the one she can't forget, the one her mind replays, the one her body remembers. Let's begin. Trait 1. Emotional control that commands respect. Most men think being emotional will win her heart. They open up too early. They share their feelings too soon. They cry, they vent, they react. They think vulnerability will earn love, but it doesn't. Not in the beginning, because obsession doesn't come from exposure. It comes from restraint. A woman doesn't crave the man who reacts to everything. She craves the man who stays calm when everything around him is falling apart. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In other words, real power is silent. It's strategic. It's the ability to stay composed while others drown in emotion. And women? They test this constantly. She gives you attitude. She takes longer to reply. She questions your tone. She doesn't even know she's doing it. But deep down, she wants to feel your frame, your strength. Most men fail this test. They become needy. They send long emotional messages. They try to explain themselves. They chase peace. But the man of power, the high-value man, does something very different. He doesn't chase peace. He becomes it. So next time she acts cold, don't lean in. Don't adjust your mood to match hers. Don't ask what's wrong, just return to your mission. Go to the gym, build something, focus on your craft. Speak less, move stronger. Because when a man is unshakable, when his emotions are not up for negotiation, he becomes magnetic. And women don't run from that, they orbit it. She looks at you. But this isn't some casual glance. This is a silent test. A woman doesn't always challenge you with words. Sometimes it's with stillness, with heat in the air, with that pause where everything gets quiet and she wonders, will he fold under pressure? Or will he control the room without saying a word? Most men fail here. They get nervous. They overreact. They try to prove themselves. They explain too much. They talk too loud. They seek validation. And in that moment, the mystery dies. The charm disappears, and deep inside her something clicks off. The attraction doesn't just fade, it shuts down like a switch. But you're not here to impress. You're here to dominate silently. You breathe slowly. You speak less. You allow the tension to build, and you don't try to escape it. When you finally talk, it's calm, direct, brief, no performance, no panic, no begging to be seen, just presence. This is your action step. When the pressure hits, don't be the noise. Be the silence that controls it. In any room, especially in moments of tension, stop trying to win approval. Don't rush to speak. Don't defend every glance or word. Let silence do what weak men fear. Command respect. You become the eye of the storm. And that is unforgettable, not just to her, but to every man watching who realizes he could never do what you just did. But let's go deeper. The next dark trick doesn't just change how she looks at you in the moment. It shifts how deeply she feels you, even when you're not around. This is controlled polarity, the tension between your masculine fire and your unshakable calm, the psychological magnet that pulls her closer without touching her. Weak men think they have to soften themselves to make women feel safe. They believe comfort equals connection. So they apologize for their strength. They explain their emotions. They cry too early. They try to be her best friend, her therapist, her emotional twin. And then they wonder why the desire vanishes. Here's the truth. Women don't obsess over comfort. They obsess over contrast. She wants to feel the friction between your mystery and your clarity, your danger and your discipline, your ability to hold space without collapsing into it. Think about it. Emotion comes in waves, but you are not the wave. You are the ground beneath it. Machiavelli told us the formula centuries ago. It is necessary to be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten the wolves. In love, that means you must detect emotional traps without falling into them. When she tests you, don't bite. When she accuses you, don't flinch. When she cries, don't collapse. This doesn't mean being cold. It means being centered. Here's a real-world example. She starts spinning. She says you're distant, that you never open up. She calls you out, not because she hates you, but because she's searching for your frame. And what do most men do? They panic, they explain, they apologize, they plead, but she doesn't feel seen, she feels alone. Not emotionally, but energetically. Because deep down she doesn't want you to drown in her chaos. She wants to feel your anchor, your move. Let her feel it. Let her speak. Let her cry. Let her rage if she must. But do not join her in the storm. You don't match the emotion. You don't overtalk. You don't start justifying every breath you've taken since Tuesday. You stand still. You breathe slower. You talk less. But when you do, your voice is calm, deep, and grounded. This is when her instincts start to betray. Because now she's not reacting logically. She's reacting biologically. She starts to melt, not from words, but from energy. From the deep, primal signal that you are not a boy trapped in emotion. You are a man made of stone and fire. And that feeling? That's the seed of obsession. But now we come to the final trait, the trick that holds all the others together. Without this one, everything else fades. With it, you don't just make her want you, you make her chase you. This is non-attachment to outcome, the quiet power that drives women wild. Here's what they won't teach you in school, in movies, or in those fake dating courses. The more you try to control her feelings, the faster she loses them. The more you need her to stay, the more she wants to leave, because obsession never comes from control. It comes from freedom. And the man who doesn't need her but still chooses her, that's the one she can't stop thinking about. Let's bring it down to real life. You meet a woman. She lights up your world. She calls, she texts, she's excited. You feel like you're winning. But then the shift happens. She pulls back, she seems distant. Her energy changes. Suddenly, you feel the panic rise. And now you're chasing. You text too much. You try to explain things. You send long messages hoping she'll understand your heart, but she doesn't feel your heart. She feels your fear. Here's what changes everything. When she says, "I don't know what I want anymore," you don't flinch. You don't beg. You don't guilt trip her. You say, "Take your time. I know what I want. I'll be fine either." That one line, calm, clear, composed, does more than any poem or playlist ever could. Because now she realizes something she didn't expect. You're not trying to win her. You've already won yourself. And that energy, that self-trust, that quiet refusal to cling, that's what she craves in a world full of men who bend the moment. Love becomes uncertain, so here's your final move. Let go of the result. If she texts back, great. If not, your life moves forward at full speed. No depression, no drama. No spiraling through her Instagram feed at 2 a.m. You remain centered. Your new standard is this: I want you, but I'll never beg to be kept. Because a woman will test your energy with confusion, with silence, with emotional shifts. And the man who remains composed through all of it, he becomes the one she fantasizes about, long after the others are forgotten. Now take a breath, because you've just unlocked something most men will never understand. These aren't just dating tricks. These are ancient principles of power, psychology, and presence. This is how Machiavellian men move, not with noise, but with gravity. Obsession doesn't come from flowers or compliments. It comes from your energy, from the way you enter a room without performing, from the silence you command, from the confidence that says, "I don't need you, but I see you, and I choose you." And when she feels that, she stops looking at other men, because none of them can match the stillness of the man who no longer chases. Machiavelli never wrote about dating, but he understood something deeper, something most modern men miss completely. He knew that obsession isn't created by charm. It's born from power. And power isn't about muscles or money. It's about energy, silent psychological energy. He showed us this. Real control doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from understanding how people see you, your posture, your vibe, your strategy. That's where attraction begins. Not in words, but in presence. He said something most men forget. Men judge more by the eye than the hand, because everyone sees, but few truly understand. And that's the game. A woman doesn't crave you because of what you do. She craves you because of what she can't figure out. The mystery, the tension, the unknown, the space between your words, the calm behind your stare, the quiet strength that makes her second-guess herself. That's not charm, that's gravity. Want to make her obsessed? Then stop performing. Stop chasing. Stop trying to be the guy who gets noticed. Become the one who makes her feel something she can't explain. A man she doesn't just want, but feels pulled toward, even when he says nothing at all. That's not manipulation. That's psychological dominance, the kind rooted in emotional control. Let me tell you something, Machiavellian. If you let her emotions control your mind, you've already lost. If her silence makes you question your worth, you're exposed. But if you can remain calm when she storms, if you don't chase her highs or beg through her lows, that's when you rise. Here's your rule. Stay emotionally sovereign. Never let her mood, her silence, or her sudden change in tone pull you off your center. If you feel anxiety every time she pauses, she owns you. But if you can smile through her confusion, if you remain grounded when she gets cold, that's when she starts to feel something deeper, not excitement, not lust, obsession. You want her curious, not certain. You want her wondering, not always knowing. Speak less, reveal less. Let her lean in. Let her feel the gaps between your words. Your mystery should follow you like a shadow she can't escape. And above all, protect your purpose. Your mission is sacred. Your focus is the throne. Never trade your vision for her attention. Never bend your path to keep her happy. Because the moment she sees that you would give up your direction for her validation, she loses respect. And once respect dies, attraction follows. Women don't want to lead. They want to feel your direction. They want to melt into the energy of a man who knows where he's going, whether she comes along or not. So stay firm, stay sharp, stay polarizing. Be the edge in her softness, the stillness in her chaos. Be the man she can't shake because your presence lingers, not in her ears, but in her nervous system. And here's the final law. Let go of outcomes, but never lower your standards. It's fine to want her. That's power. But the second you need her, you've lost your crown. You should never beg, plead, or convince someone to see your value. Your energy should speak it before your mouth does. And if she pulls away, you let her go. Not in anger, not in fear, but in silence, in strength. Because you don't chase women. You attract them. You don't perform for approval. You command attention by living your truth out loud. And once you stop acting like the prize, you start becoming it. This isn't about faking confidence. It's about becoming a man so centered, so dangerous, so emotionally untouchable that she can't stop replaying your presence in her mind. Even long after you're gone, she feels it in her body, in her thoughts, in the stillness of her room at night when she wonders, why can't I get him out of my head? And that's how obsession starts. Not through seduction, but through presence. Not through noise, but through silence that feels heavy, magnetic, undeniable. You weren't born to be liked. You weren't made to be validated. You were built to be chosen. Not just by her, but by life, by destiny, by the women who still believe in strength. So stay grounded, stay focused, stay sovereign, because the man who becomes the storm is never afraid of the wind. Now, if you're one of the few, the very few, who's ready to walk away from the weak, forgettable version of yourself, if you're done playing by the rules of the 99%, if you're ready to build a presence so sharp she feels it without words, then pay attention. Something's coming. What I'm building right now will change the way women see you. But more importantly, it'll change the way you see yourself. It's not for everyone. But if this message hit you in the chest, if you felt your instincts shift, then trust that. Stay tuned and listen. Don't keep this locked in your mind. Put it out there. Write something in the comments, even if it's just one word. Lock the message in. Make it real. It might help someone else find their edge too. If this lit a fire in you, hit the like button. Share it with a man who needs to remember who he is, or who's just now realizing he was never taught. We're all trying to get sharper, to build a mind that doesn't break, a presence that doesn't beg, a life that doesn't wait. So let's build it, one ruthless truth at a time.